What's going on, guys? We're here back on GT Sport, and I wanted to make, just a normal video of just good, clean, fun racing, side-by-side battles, and just seeing if we can get through the field. But things turned for the worst as I actually got paired up with one of the dirtiest drivers in the American region. Now, you're gonna see right here, we zoom in on this driver, Luis Dinicio, and you're gonna see why Luis Dinicio is hated by basically everybody in this lobby and why he is crowned for this week's dirtiest driver in America. So we head into a race 3, 2, 1, away we go into turn number 1 and 2 as we are doing the reverse layout of ASUS in the Group 3 cars. Now, starting off in second place, we start off right behind Spaghetti in first, and you can see already Luis has gained a position, but instead of gaining the position like in a way you're supposed to as a race car driver, or a driver at least, and doing it cleanly, he decides to push out Nth Proxy and then rams him against the wall, taking third place away from him and getting into podium. And I didn't know this at the time, so I was just focusing on my race. I was just following Spaghetti here, trying to just navigate our way through this first lap without any incidents. And that's basically what we did here. We just kind of just did our business here, just went through the race nice and easy. And as we now jump into lap number 2, or at the end of lap number 1, this is when things starting to get a little bit interesting, because we did start off on the medium compound tires, so did Spaghetti up ahead, but Luis decided to roll the dice and go on the soft, so he did have the faster compound tires than us. So I was just trying everything in my power to hold on to this car and just make sure that we attack our lines the best way that we can without making any mistakes. As we head back into turn number 1 and 2 here on the second lap, we go off at turn number 3 on the exit. We just get a little bit of wheel spin as the rear did not want to grip up with the track. We lose a ton of time there off of the corner, and now we have Luis right behind us. So heading to the right-hander, we get hit from behind, and at this point I kind of knew something was going on, because you can see Luis just goes for the bump on me, didn't even go for the corner, just tries to push me out of the way, and then heading to the next corner he almost takes out Spaghetti. So at this point I knew that he was trouble, so I was just keeping an eye on him, keeping focused. Now my initial thought process right here was, well, if Luis is right now on the faster compound tires, and I knew that Spaghetti was on the mediums, or at least I was guessing, Luis is going to catch up to Spaghetti, and both these guys are going to end up either taking each other out, or Luis is going to take out Spaghetti. And when we get into the pits and we switch off to the soft compound tires, hopefully we can get an undercut in and we can get around Luis without having to fight him on the track. So heading to the hairpin right here, both of them made contact, and this was exactly what I was saying. Spaghetti made contact with Luis, and both of them go side by side, and Luis gets the worst end of it. He gets pushed into the grass, and that basically 1.5 2-second gap that we had from us to Spaghetti has now turned into a 2/10 of a second gap, and we are now hot on his rear bumper, just trying to stay right behind him and stay in the slipstream here and just see if we can utilize his toe to allow us to stay with him. So into the final corner now of lap number 2, we just spot our braking point into the hairpin. Make sure that we get it nice and easy as we go straight into the third lap. We're going to see what our lap time is going to be here. So Spaghetti puts in a 155.1, but we put in a 154.6. Actually, a really great lap, especially because we're on the mediums. And you can see that it kept dropping down more and more as PS Rodrigo put in a 152.6. Now as we jump into lap number 4, nothing really happened on lap number 3. All we were doing was attempting to stay with Spaghetti, make sure they didn't get too far away, and luckily for us we were able to maintain the gap of under a second, and this is where we were gaining majority of our time. It was basically on this second sector and third sector where it had a lot of medium to low speed corners. This car just did magically around here compared to Spaghetti's, and that's where we were gaining majority of our time. But unfortunately, make a little mistake, go a tad bit wide into the grass, and off of the hairpin we just could not gain traction, and we lose the back end, and that caused us to lose not only places to Spaghetti, but we lost a position to Luis as he now goes in for the dive, again hits us out, and then goes in onto the inside, pushes us out of the way onto the left hand corner, and now he was able to retake second away from us. So we attempt to go into the inside. He does a very last minute block. I tried to go into the right hand side, but Coffee had a huge head of steam on the right hand side, and I didn't want to accidentally bump into him and crash him out. So we just held our line here and decided to come into the pits this lap, as this was the recommended strategy to do if you were starting on the medium. So if you were starting on the mediums on this race, you wanted to come in on lap 4. If you were starting off on the softs, you wanted to come in on lap 6 and just use the mediums for 4 laps. So we came in, we did our pit stop, and now we are on the preferred soft compound tires. So basically from here till lap 6, we just have to push, and just put in as quick of a lap time as we can now that we have fresh soft compound tires. So heading into the hairpin here, we're in a little skirmish with Coffee, but not as bad as the skirmish that's going on up ahead as Shikibanki makes contact with Spaghetti. Spaghetti almost takes out Shikibanki, as it was a 34 car carnage that was happening right ahead of us, and we were able to get ahead of Spaghetti, which is very, very important, because you gotta remember that he is the only one that came into the pits besides me and Coffee, and now we were able to get around him. But Coffee takes full advantage heading into that long sweeping left-hander, was able to get ahead of us, and we had a fall in line right behind him here back in 7th. And this is basically the race for the win right here, if we can just get around Coffee. But Coffee is just forcing his way through, and as we try to go into the inside of Stealth, we were able to get a good overtake there, and we are now promoted up into P6, as Coffee has now made his way around J-Funk and worked his way up into P4. So going back onto the inside, we try to go for a cutback underneath J-Funk as he goes a tad bit wide on the exit, and we do that textbook, and we were able to gain now the 5th place position away from J-Funk and focus our sights back on Coffee and see if we can try to catch up to him here heading into the hairpin. So very, very dramatic lap there. We were just fighting with a lot of people, as you can see now Luis Dino comes into the pits. A couple more drivers ahead come into the pits, and now Luis Dino relinquishes his 1st place position. We're going to see where we come out at now. As we come out right ahead of him, we are now up into P2. This is going to be the battle for the win, as we have Spaghetti right behind us and Luis right behind Spaghetti. So basically a mad dash to the finish here with just 4 laps to go. Let's see what's going to happen as we jump up a little further into lap number 6. We just stayed right behind Coffee, and this is where I was getting a little bit frustrated, because Coffee was driving the GTR, we were driving the FT1, and we were great on the corners, but Coffee was just ridiculously great on the straights. You can see right here on the up this hill, he just kept pulling and pulling away from us. But while all that was going on, let's check in on our buddy Luis. As you can see, he's fighting here for 4th place position right behind us. Decides to push out Nth Proxy, and going into this left-hander, he just decides, you know what, I'm going to use Rodrigo as a little break here. Pushes Rodrigo out, forces him out wide, and now it's 3 wide heading into the next corner. And yeah, just craziness that was going on with this driver. I can see why a lot of people did not like him after this race. But focusing back on our battle, we're still right behind Coffee, as we're still in the slipstream, and that was our best friend here. We had to stay within the slipstream of Coffee. If Coffee was able to get out of tow, then we would have been basically done with this race, because Coffee would have just been able to just pull away. But luckily, coming off the corner, Coffee makes a huge mistake, goes straight into the wall, and just scrapes the right hand side, loses a tremendous amount of miles per hour. And luckily we were able to stay right behind him, and we are now in our strongest part of the racetrack, which is this 2nd to 3rd sector, just because of how great the handling is on this Toyota. So didn't lose that much time to Coffee now, as we are just stuck right behind him like glue. We're just using the cornering speed here of this Toyota, and you can see now that it has closed down this gap. We are now in the slip of Coffee, and we can possibly go in for an overtake here going into the final corners. We get a really great run, stay in the slipstream, just spotting a braking point. We go in as wide as we can onto the entrance, and coming off of the corner, Coffee was just able to hold it together, and now he's going to be able to pull away here down the straight, and it's just going to be a repeat of what happened the lap and 2 laps prior, actually, because it's been about 2 laps we've been fighting. So little bit of contact into the rear of Coffee as he goes in a little bit slow, but on the exit again, he's just able to pull away up the uphill section. You can just see the difference on acceleration between the GTR and the Toyota FT1 as we are just trying to stay with him, but we are now having Spaghetti hot on our rear. So it's a 3-car battle still for this first, and it just has not slowed down, so just have to be on our best behavior. But going back to our buddy Luis, let's see what he's doing here as they head into turn number 1. Tries to dive bomb in, takes the Tyrannosaurus Cyrus Rex out, but instead he takes himself out and actually took out the car right behind him. So I'm not sure what exactly transpired right there with the car behind him, but yeah, that was basically the race in the tail of Luis. We have to focus here now for the battle for the win. So still right behind Coffee here as we are just looking for any opening just to go for an overtake here on Coffee. We just could not find anything, and it's very difficult on this racetrack. This racetrack is a really great racetrack to race on. It's very flowy, and it's a really fun racetrack. But the only thing, it's a single line track, so you really can't take any other line and do well. You have to kind of just take a particular racing line in order to put in a quick lap time. If you go a little bit off, it just, the momentum doesn't swing your way when you go into the next corner, because you get so many left rights. So if you ruin your entrance or you ruin your exit off of one corner, it will just basically not set you up well for the next one. That's what makes it very difficult for an overtake. But as we head into this hairpin, this might be our best opportunity here as we try to go in for the cutback, but on the exit we just lose as we don't get the grip that we need on the rear, and Coffee was able to just pull away here now as we are going back into turn number 1 and turn number 2 and off of turn number 3. So you can see that again, just basically deja vu of the past 3 laps with Coffee. He was just able to stay right ahead of us and then just pull away, but back into the middle part of the racetrack, which is where we're gonna be doing our best. We get a really great run off of the exit. We attempt to take a little big onto the inside, but we just could not get it done. And I just decided to myself, okay, maybe if we can just stay right behind him as close as we can, we could possibly go for the lunge on the final hairpin. So all we have to do is just stay right behind him, at least 1/10 or 2/10 behind, and I think we should be all right here as we are just making sure that we hit our apexes, make sure that we don't overdrive the car, because we know we don't have to push that much. We know we have the grip on these corners, so we cannot allow Coffee to pull away more than that 2/10 of a second delta. So on to the penultimate corner, we get a really good corner and a really great run, but Coffee just absolutely gets the best traction off of the corner, and he is just able to pull away with the acceleration of the GTR. We just could not keep it within that 2-second delta, and we just go in as deep as we can, try to go in for a wide entrance and maximize the exit, but we just could not do anything. And coming down to the line, Coffee was able to hold us for that hard forward laps, and we were able to just pull away from Spaghetti. So that was really showing how quick we were going and the pace that we were doing on this race, as we were able to just pull away from everybody, and it was just a 2-car battle for 4 laps, which just had to be absolutely perfect, and Coffee was absolutely perfect and was able to get this win. But that was basically the tale of Luis Dinicio. I don't even know how to say his name, but it was just an interesting race here. We had to deal with rammers, we had to deal with a really good battle for the win, and as well as dealing with all the traffic that we had when we came out of the pits. Just a race full of drama, and in my opinion, I hope I never race against this Luis Dino guy again, but I hope in the future me and Coffee race again for a battle that I honestly really enjoyed. So let me know how you guys are doing this week around Alsace. Let me know if you guys ever raced against this Luis Dinicio guy. As you can see, everyone in the chat was not happy with him, but yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought about that. And if you guys really enjoyed this video, I hope you guys did. Feel free to hit that like button and the subscribe button down below. And if you guys want to follow me on the Twitters, Instagram, or even on Discord, you can find all those links in the description. And again, hope you guys really enjoyed the video. If you guys did, catch you guys on the next one. Peace.